You could be right and I could be wrong. We could just fight or we could...
This is Bridge the Gap, the program that seeks for the truth no matter where it is found. I'm Mark.
And I'm David.
David had just asked me to watch a program on Netflix that had just come out, and it's called The Great Hack.
The Great Hack, yeah.
Because we want to get into that conversation here in a minute.
Yeah.
It dovetails into everything that we're talking about, and I'd like to get your take on it, Adam. You spend a lot of time on YouTube, and you have a lot of insight and some strong opinions. And I just watched The Great Hack yesterday, David, because you said you had just watched it. You need to watch this.
Mm-hmm. 5 minutes into it, I texted you.
Yeah.
I started it and I fell asleep.
Okay.
So he liked it a lot.
Well, no, I was kind of dealing with this stuff. You know what I mean? I was just kind of dealing with, I was out of my mind, last night with things. But I understand what it's about. I mean, you told me a little bit about what it's about, so I kind of know already.
Yeah, so I'd like you to jump in as we have this discussion and give your 2 bits from your perspective as you've heard other things that will pertain to this, because this is in the current news. It has to do a lot with what's going on in social media and what's been going on behind the scenes and who can you trust. Have you heard of Cambridge Analytica at all?
Yeah.
Well, what do you know about that?
Just they're the ones that either leaked the information or got the information from Facebook about the political between Clinton and Trump.
Yes.
About people's political views and things like that. And they had a template basically that they shouldn't have had.
Yeah. Some of the facts that have come out in all of this is, for example, during a congressional hearing, Mark Zuckerberg admitted that a developer did leak personal information from Facebook users to Cambridge Analytica.
Deflect, right?
Yeah, well, he didn't admit that he did it personally or knew about it, but a quote-unquote developer leaked the information to them. And when they had learned about that, they asked them to delete it. But then Cambridge Analytica said they did, but didn't delete it and continued to use it. And then there were a couple whistleblowers within Cambridge Analytica that came forward and admitted that they were involved and knew some of the things that were going on there that they didn't have a clear conscience about, and actually went before Congress and started to testify about what they knew. One of the ex-employees' names was Christopher Wiley, and another one was Brittany Kaiser. Have you heard of either of these players?
No.
Christopher Wiley was more or less an employee-level person, and there could be an argument made that he was just trying to undermine the company because he had selfish motives, right?
Sure.
But it's a little bit harder to say that about Brittany because she was an executive, and she actually admitted that she knew that even after Facebook had told Cambridge Analytica to delete that personal information, they continued to use it. And so that came out as a fact.
Behind Cambridge Analytics, behind even Facebook, there's these big, wealthy individuals that are pulling the strings. And one of the ways they pull strings is data on us. And it just shows that they can manipulate the heck out of us.
Well, one of the things that came out in the movie was this word that they used. They called them the persuadables. Mm-hmm. Remember? Mm-hmm. And define what a persuadable is for Adam's event. Yeah, it's like a sheeple. They have actually got the psychological profiling done. What they've done is profiled the personalities of all the people on their social media network in Facebook.
Sure.
They've done a psychological profile and determined how people's personalities fit into certain segments. And so we are now viewed as a personality type by them. And there is a certain personality type that they dub a persuadable. And those are people who have the personality that they can have their mind changed.
Seems like most people.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And so in 2016 election, they targeted the persuadables with loads of propaganda to get them to see the world the way they wanted them to. Not the way the world was, but the way they wanted them to see it.
It's happening to all of us in a way, right? But those people specifically got a real dose of it.
Yeah. Cambridge Analytica ends up getting caught, and now they are no longer a business. because this whole thing came forward between 2016 and 2019, and they got in a ton of trouble over it.
But did they?
Well, and
that's
the question is...
They're the scapegoat. That's, to me, I mean, you hear stories like this pretty regularly. Well, I do, or read about them, it doesn't take that much digging. People were paid money. They blamed the company. They testified before Congress. Okay, big deal. What happened since? Nothing. Nobody's in trouble. Nobody faced a criminal trial. Nobody's facing fines. It's like, we sold them this information. We played the people. This is what happened. Now we're going to play them even further. We're going to close the deal on it. Bam. They're out of business. But the people who mattered got paid. And they've moved on with their lives.
Right.
Do other ventures.
So the question is the technology, it's gone unabated. It's going to continue to go on.
Oh, for sure.
So who's doing it now? Has it really been solved?
As far as who, I don't know. The deep state, the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, you can point fingers everywhere. I don't know who. The one behind the scenes is Satan, controlling all this stuff. With where technology is going now, it's scary. People who used to be executives in Facebook have given interviews, and they don't even let their children participate in Facebook. They tell people, don't use Facebook. These are people that used to work for them, people who helped start the company. The CIA is involved with Facebook. They testified before Congress, because that matters, that, yeah, we're involved with Facebook. They're using it for data mining. They sell this stuff to different third-party entities. That your phone, that's recording everything. An article was just on Fox News today about Alexa's listening to you have sex. They're listening, they're watching everything. Everything we're saying right now is being recorded. Is it a coincidence that Facebook is opening up just a few miles down the road from the NSA data center here in Lehigh? Isn't that crazy?
What a coincidence.
Right. And this is going to be the new Silicon Slopes, is what they call it. And there's the data collection center right across the way.
Yeah.
You just look out the window and you see it
through the back window of my house.
Of this house.
It's actually a better view from this house.
and all these tech companies are now locating here. Is that coincidence? That's how they want it. Nothing you do is private anymore. All the information you think is private is being sold, traded to the government, to companies, corporations, for marketing, they say.
So this is what Christopher Wiley said, one of the ex-employees of Cambridge Analytica, in front of Congress. He said this is what Facebook does, is they harvest the data from you if you give them permission. But when you give them permission, they not only harvested all the data from you, they harvested it from all of your friends. Without your friends' permission, just because you gave them permission, they harvested it from you and all of your friends.
And that's probably in their terms of service, right?
Perhaps in the fine print.
But they're doing it anyway, whether you give them permission or not. That's the funny thing is, they're doing it anyway.
If you're putting the information into it, they have it.
They have it. They're going to use it however they want. You have no way to trace this stuff.
Yeah.
No way.
He also said that they're targeting you as a personality.
Mm-hmm.
He said that they needed a couple 100,000 people to build a psychological profile of all the people in the United States. So once they had just a couple 100,000 people, they understood the psychological profile of the entire country and every personality type in the country.
Now they have a great algorithm for it, I'm sure.
That's part of the game. That's their secret sauce,
Mm-hmm.
they say, is that they understand the mind of all the people in the country and how it works. The question is this legal activity or not? As
far as the legality of it goes, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Ethically, it's totally unethical. And they're playing, they're not going to drop bombs on us. They're going to rely on us to do it ourselves, to do it to each other. Look at the divisive nature of the country. Everywhere you turn, it's race, it's politics, it's religion, and everybody's fighting on every front, and everybody's right and everybody's wrong. And they're doing it to turn us against each other. That's the whole point.
Well, and it's interesting you say that, because at the end of the program, that's really what it was about. Facebook was created to unite and bring us together, but now it's being used as a weapon to tear us apart.
Sure.
What about the quote earlier on? I think that's when I texted you. The quote where she said the guy was at Cambridge or whatever followed this whatever, like way of thinking.
Process.
And it was in order to control a society or something, first you have to break it or
that
whatever.
was Bannon. Yeah, Steve Bannon works for Breitbart, and his philosophy is that you have to tear, in order to rebuild a culture in a nation, you have to tear it apart, and then you take the broken pieces, and then you can create a new culture.
Do you remember I told you about maybe a year ago, a Russian former KGB guy, heavily involved in their political system, gave a step-by-step process on how to do this. And I don't remember what they were, but I mean, it's really easy to find on YouTube. And we're like on step 3 right now. And he gave this interview back in the early 80s. This is what you need to do to control a society. That we were already in step 3, pretty far into it.
9/11, dude. That was part of it.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
Guarantee it.
Yeah. No, it was airplanes. Yeah.
Now we're getting into conspiracy.
Yeah.
theory.
Now people are, this is where we're going to, but
talking about breaking a society. That got them to be able to do the Patriot Act, right? And be able to get all of our data. Like,
right.
Well, let's just start.
We do this, we can do this. And the big guys are, yeah, it's crazy.
For now, let's just stick with what they admitted.
The aliens, you mean?
Yeah. With what Brittany Kaiser, the executive, admitted before Congress, because she has admitted, this is public knowledge now, that Facebook did do personality tests on the users. This is not conspiracy theory. This is factual, right? And that they didn't target everyone equally, but they did target the minds they thought they could change. They called those the persuadables. That's what they dubbed the group. And she said, we designed personalized content to trigger those individuals until they saw the world the way we wanted them to.
Sure.
Until they changed their behavior. That's what their whole goal was. And she admitted to it.
But what's going to happen as a result? Nothing. You know, that's my whole point is, I mean, people know that that's what's happening. Not everybody, but people are aware of it. If people aren't aware of it, they're just out of ignorance or they just choose not to pay attention to it. It's been going on a long time, the same thing, you know, and it's going to continue to go on. It's going to continue to happen, you know, and it's just going to grow from here. I mean, that was just one more step in that progression, you know, for the ultimate goal of whatever it is they think they want.
Yeah.
They.
Well, and so in The Great Hack Program, it's the documentary we've been discussing, they start to get into this discussion about whether or not this is psyops. It's a term that the military uses for psychological operations. Mm-hmm. So it's a warfare term. And Brittany Kaiser actually admitted that what they called psychographics is classified as a weapon in Great Britain.
Really?
And they were using and had to get permission from the government in Great Britain to use psychographics in order to profile the people because it was classified as a weapon.
Just in the UK?
In the UK, yeah, because
they had to get permission.
And this is what's kind of interesting. You learn this from watching the program, is that all of our data has been mined out of Facebook and is being stored in UK. Cambridge Analytica resided in UK under their laws and jurisdiction. So we as Americans don't have any legal right to do anything to Cambridge Analytica. We would have to go to their country, use their laws to try and sue them, which is something a person tried to do. So,
and I'm sure they probably weren't or aren't going to be successful.
So far, that person hasn't been successful. And Cambridge Analytica has now filed bankruptcy. They're out of business, shut down. It's not likely that they'll ever give them anything.
Right. Well, and it's not, I mean, just to expand on it a little bit, I mean, it's not just limited to Facebook, though. You know, it's any social media forum. Anything you type on, anything you post on.
Well, and who knows, even our Apple phones, right? Like the phone itself.
Right.
Like anything you put into your phone, whether they're doing it yet or will be data. Right. Like, yeah, it's crazy. What I find really interesting is it's what Satan does, right? It's what Satan's done from the beginning of the world, is just manipulate, like fake us out, right? Deceive us. And what's interesting is now just like I feel like humans are learning how to do what God does, and they're learning how to do what Satan does here on the earth, right? Like, we can do amazing things like science and all that kind of stuff. And Satan is just getting more and more belligerent with like getting these people to do what he does physically. Like, they're literally doing this stuff rather than him just kind of whispering things to us or making us, see things or whatever. Does that make sense?
Oh, totally makes sense.
Yeah.
We're numb to it. It's not as relevant, I guess, anymore to people. Because I mean, I've heard and read and seen things produced that indicate, people's religious beliefs. Religion has lower attendance, than it ever has. You know what I mean? People are leaving the church. You've heard that. It's pretty common practice. Now. But you're right. I think people are just numb to it or ignorant of it, blissfully ignorant of it. I mean, God doesn't matter anymore. God's not there. People don't see him.
One of the interesting things that came up in the program too was, I can't remember who said it, but they said our personal data is out there and it's being used against us in ways that we don't understand. When I heard that, it reminded me of a verse of scripture in the Book of Mormon that Nephi saw our day, and he actually reveals to us how this data is being used against us so that we can understand, which makes the Book of Mormon a very valuable tool if we believed that somebody years before we even were born saw our day and warned us about it. That's kind of a cool concept to ponder about.
What does it say?
Should we read it?
Yeah.
That's it for this episode of Bridge the Gap.
Truth seekers,